Hello and welcome. I'm so happy to host you today at my webinar, What Led Me to Successfully Sell Two Companies in 5 years and what I learned on the way. This is my story. It will be 20 years of my professional experience combined together in a form of 15 lessons. 15 lessons or events that I found are really important in how this story shaped me as an entrepreneur, shaped my businesses, and what led eventually to two successful exits. I'm Andrzej Nedoma. I was the founder of XTRF and LIDO-LANG, and I'm happy to share this story with you today. But I'd like to start by congratulating you on spending your time and willing to learn, because there's so many books that nobody reads, and there is so many content that people do not kind of accept, and there is so many courses that people don't attend, and you have decided to spend your time to hopefully get some knowledge, some insight, or maybe some inspiration for your businesses or your lives and grow. So this is fantastic, and I do hope I will not deceive you. Well, the contrary, my goal today is to over-deliver and share with you the knowledge that might be really useful in your particular cases. So this is not like a collection of dummy success stories or dummy case studies. No, this is all true. As I told you, everything I will prepare to present today is based on facts and is my true story. I'm really passionate about being very efficient. So this session will also be efficient and quite dynamic. So bear with me. We have 15 lessons that I'd like to share with you. So let's start right now. First, as I told you, this is my personal story, and it is like 20 years ago that it started. It was 2001 that I have managed to get to Erasmus program, which is an exchange of students program in European Union, and I was happy to go to Italy, to Bergamo, which is very close to the Alps, northern Italy, fantastic region. As you might know, Erasmus is not only about studying, it's more about meeting people, being in this international environment, meeting new culture, discovering stories, discovering people goals and dreams and their lives. So I was very excited about that, and I was curious to learn everything I could learn from these people. And one lesson from there is really huge, and it helped me through 20 years of my career later on. In fact, I was so happy I went to Italy, and I saw it's like, winning in the lottery. And I have met so many people for whom the Italy was just one stop in their life. Before they were like teaching language in Kuwait, or doing some work in South America, or working somewhere in Asia or in Australia, and they were all in the move. And I said, like, for me, Italy was such a goal, and for them, this is just a tiny part of their goals, a tiny part of the story that they set for themselves. And this was really big. I have realized that first you have to set goals, and then when you set goals, aim high, because if you set goals and you work towards them, there is a good chance you will realize all of them are a good part of them. So aim high, because the more you want from life and the more you work for, the more you will get. So don't be shy and don't be afraid. Just go for it. And we really did. In 2002, when I came back to Poland from my Erasmus studies, I decided together with my father that we'll bring his one-man LIDO-LANG technical translations company into the shape of a real business that grows internationally and builds the structure, proper revenues and size. And so we're lucky enough, because right after I came back from Italy, we got an invitation to one of the industry conferences from the translation industry. It was in Italy, and just fresh out of Italy, I was speaking very good Italian. So it was quite fortunate. And we went there and we met so many companies who wanted to buy from us. What's even more important, they were all happy to pay some 3 to 4 times higher rates that we could charge in Poland. And this is a big lesson that I used throughout my life. Sell to clients who are willing to pay higher rates for your services and products, because they associate much higher value to what you deliver, much higher value to the service that you render. So sell to clients that value your services most. In that way, you can maximize your margin, you can maximize your growth pace, well, everything that comes with it. And we have become the preferred vendor or partner for Central and Eastern European languages for so many clients internationally, which means in Central Europe, Western Europe, in Scandinavia, United States, or even in Asia. So 95% of our business came from abroad. And this was really successful, this was fantastic. I loved this period. And I try to repeat this lesson and this approach to clients in everything I do today. Then we were on this way to grow the business. It was going pretty well, but I found this expression obscurity being our biggest problem. And obscurity means nobody knows about you, or few people know about you. So what this means, you have to fight obscurity, which means you have to transfer the information that you are there, you have a good service, you have a good product, so that people are aware of this and can actually benefit from this. They can buy from you. So in order for this to happen, you have to start selling actively. I can see so many businesses, and like we did in the past, it was owners or founders or CEOs who were the only salespeople. Of course, we did the same, but that's not the end. If you want really to scale your business, you have to think about building your sales team, building your sales structure, and you have to be proactive in reaching out to clients. Not wait for them to come to find you, but you going to find them, because if you have a great service or product, it's even your duty to help the world, help other businesses with this. So be present, show yourself, fight obscurity, and claim your part of the market. And by the way, when I was reaching out to clients and I was starting to get interested in sales trainings, I realized that when I started talking to them, 90% of clients were not interested. But after a few minutes, they turned to be interested. How come? Well, it's about how you talk to clients. What do you talk about? And by the way, you need to remember, clients are interested in two things. First, themselves. Second, their competition. So you should pick one of these two topics or a combination of these topics when you talk to clients, because you are not interesting to them. They are interesting to themselves. So as long as you can refer your pitch, your story to their situations, their needs, their pains, well, this is how you build the interest, and this is how sales happens. And from my experience, 90% of those that were not interested became interested very quickly. And I have learned one more thing, or maybe that's the key lesson. You can of course think about what particular elements of your product are beating the competition in which you are better. But you can be better in the way you sell. You can differentiate by the way you talk to clients, by the way you discover their needs or problems or issues and help them solve this. So by the way you talk, you can differentiate, and by the way you sell, you can win new clients. That's a big lesson. Then it came 2008. Our company LIDO-LANG was growing, and we had this idea, we need technology. Of course, we need technology to support the internal processes, everything from project management, quoting, invoicing, connecting with clients, lots of things. So we were looking in the market, and we didn't really find one. So we decided to build a technology that could fit translation market needs. And we have been talking about this idea with lots of friends and other business owners or translation company owners. We're part of several consortiums, and during one of the meetings, LIDO-LANG was the big group. We're representing Poland there, and we have shared this idea of how we see the need for technology in our company and in the market, and they all agreed to that, and they were super enthusiastic, and they said, yeah, we want this as well, and we have the same problems, we have the same needs. That's fantastic. If you do it, we will buy it. So I said, that's great news, because to build a new IT company and the IT product, you need money and you need clients. So I thought, well, those early clients will be our early adopters, so-called, and they will also help us finance the development of the product, which was such a fantastic plan, but it didn't work. And I realized that, there is long distance between the interested prospect and the paying client. They were interested, but they didn't reach out to their wallets and pockets to give us some money to help develop the tool. Now they are our clients. Most of this group is our clients right now. I mean, ours. I sold XTRF a year ago, but they are XTRF users and clients. But it took us time before they became clients. So it was a big lesson, quite a bitter lesson, because we really started with no clients, no money, and we were draining the profits from our translation business and putting this in to build XTRF, which initially was supposed to be called Trophy from Translation Office, but for various reasons we have picked another name, and XTRF was what we landed with. So a big lesson, the client which is interested is not enough. You have to learn and understand what makes them start paying, what makes them really ready to pick their wallets and start paying to you and give you their money. That's a big difference, and it might take some time. As we were growing XTRF, I wrote here, we were fighting for the air, because we were really trying to sell as much as possible and attending lots of trade shows and conferences, and we were traveling the world. We were in United States or North America, we were in Asia, we were lots of events in Europe. Our marketing was quite chaotic, because we wanted to be all over the place and basically talk with everyone and try to get clients as fast as possible, because we needed money to further develop the business. So naturally, we were quite aggressive in our sales activities, but we were spending a lot of money, but the results were pretty modest. I wouldn't say we were growing very fast. It was okay, but it wasn't super quick. And what lesson I would draw from this is that selling as much as possible is not a sales strategy. A sales strategy is when you know which clients have particular problems and which problems that you can address in a certain way and which way. And those are the people that represent these clients, and this is how you should talk about them to show how you can help their businesses. So you should segment the market, pick the client types associated with your offer, with what elements of your product or service the client is really looking for to solve their needs or problems, and then promote this to them. And you can make some assumptions on how many clients you're planning to contact, and what's the conversion rate, and what's the expected revenue that you are going to generate over the time. That's the sales strategy. That's what you should go for, and you should match it with the budget, which is the list of costs and revenues that you are planning to commit to over the time, so that it all fits together and your costs do not overrun the revenues that you are planning to get. That's what you need. So our strategy of going all over the place was not a strategy at all. It was a hard lesson. As I said, we did sell some, but we could do it much better. Today, we could do it surely much better. So a lesson for everyone: selling as much as possible is not what you want for your sales team. You want a well-defined sales strategy, go-to-market strategy, client acquisition strategy or lead generation strategy, and then you want them to execute on that. So as I said, we were kind of successful in selling, but not really very much. But of course, our numbers were growing, and it was nice. We had more clients, we had even more ideas. With every client, we had lots of new ideas, and we had more people that were joining our team. The company was growing, the idea of XTRF was expanding, and so were the costs. Of course, they were expanding as well. So every sale we did was really important for us, so that we could cover the costs. And I have realized that it will never finish, because IT product is never finished, because you always have some new ideas that you would add to this, or new features that you like add here or there. And so we are really chasing our own tail. So this is something wrong here. And then the software as a service companies started to be popular, especially in the United States, then gradually in Europe. And I got really interested in this. And I realized how much recurring revenue is more interesting than the one-time sale. How much better it is, because it reoccurs every month or every quarter. So you can really predict your finances. You can really plan your revenue over the time in future. And this can really help you scale the business in the safe way. So we wanted to get there. We wanted to go away from one-time sales, and we wanted to start generating recurring revenue, so become a software as a service company. Of course, this requires money, but we knew we wanted that. And by the way, when you think about your businesses, maybe you can go after some long-term predefined contracts so that you have some assumptions or even client commitments about future spendings with you. This will surely help you plan your finances, not to mention help you also build the value of your business, because in case you want to sell as well one day, well, any revenues committed for future will surely take your valuation high. So, as we said, we needed money. So in 2014, we were raising capital from venture capital, a VC company from Poland, from Warsaw, with international investors. It was pretty cool. I was super proud about that because it was the beginnings of VC in Poland. Now it's pretty standard, but back then it wasn't so much. And there were, of course, lots of companies that wanted to get some financing. And among hundreds or thousands of them, we were chosen by one of the few VC companies back then to get their investment. By the way, the process is pretty simple. So you first build the pitch deck, which is like a short presentation on what you plan to achieve with your company. And of course, you present it to investors, you gather the feedback, and you improve this pitch deck so that it talks more directly about your goals and your ambitions and how it can become really a success, so that your investors can become successful together with you. With this improved pitch deck, you hopefully will get invitation for a broader presentation, which is typically made by the management board to the board of the VC investment committee. And of course, you gather the feedback, but hopefully you also get term sheet one day, which means there is a defined set of conditions under which the VC company is willing to invest in your business. So it basically describes the broad understanding of how the future contract should work. Once you sign this, you go to due diligence so that everybody is on the same page and there is no hidden information or hidden facts in your company that the investor is not aware of. So when the due diligence passes well, you move to contract negotiation. You go through closing, which is signing everything and executed on all the steps related to contract negotiation and having new owner or co-owner on board. And then it's post-closing reality. And I thought when we signed with VC, we signed the contract, I was one of the most happy person on the planet. And I realized very quickly that that's not the moment to celebrate yet. You know, it's a step, it's okay, it's an important step, but this is not yet the final success. The final success will be at the exit. Now it's really hard work time, and it can be also hard times time. And I realized it very, very quickly. So we were with VC, our partner, for like 6 years, and very quickly I realized we have a lot of control, which is put on our shoulders. So we are being controlled, and we are pushed hard to execute and to deliver even more. The targets are really aggressive. This game became aggressive because you have to remember how it works. VC buys a portfolio of companies, and they want each of these companies to hopefully finance the whole portfolio, the whole fund. So in order for this to happen, these companies really have to grow very fast. And on this growth path, which is pretty steep and aggressive, some of them might fail and they might break down and just collapse. And it happens, which is brutal. I wasn't really so much aware of this. So how aggressive this became was kind of a surprise to me. But okay, we were still on the ground and willing to do our best. But we had to learn it, that the story doesn't have to be so nice to founders or safe to the business, because the investment partner can have their own goals, which might be different than your goals as a founder. You might wish to have a little bit more control, more comfort, maybe more stable growth, but they want to see whether you are the company that can really finance the whole fund. So they want you to run as fast as possible, and this might be uncomfortable. So the big lesson here is, whether it is VC or this is somebody else, each business partner will have their own goals and their own interests related to their shares hold in the company co-own. So you need to understand that. You need to understand these goals and those interests so that you find the way to communicate, to cooperate, so that you can build a proper strategy that really hopefully respects all of the interests and goals that somehow could be different between themselves. So really understand well your business partners. It's crucial because you will be with them for several years to go and you need to know what they are after. In 2016, somewhere in the close to vacations time, it was the worst day in my business career. We had some misunderstanding with the investors about the next financial round. I was pretty sure we are going to get this, and when we needed this, I realized no, we are not going to get anything. This was a shock for me. This was really terrible news. But being the CEO, you have to take decisions and you have to save the business. So we needed to go through severe cost-cutting exercise, and part of this was laying off like 30% of our staff, or it was close to 30 people. It was terrible. It was terrible. You know, laying off that many people on the same day, knowing that they were good people, but we didn't have money to support them. We didn't have money to pay them. So we really needed to take some difficult decisions, very difficult decisions. And this made my day terrible, if not to say week or months or quarter. It was really hard. And then, of course, we had to take care of our finances and put some balance between the spendings and the revenues. And we had to focus on cash. And cash and cash flow projection became my number one obsession every day. Later, when we got much better, it was every month, every Monday, but it stayed like this. Every week I was starting my day, so my Monday, with the cash flow projection for the months to come. Because I wanted to be sure that we are safe. Because without money, you can have great people, great product, great service, but you will just not survive, because before your revenues come, hopefully, you will be down with debt, and probably you may be losing your business even before that happens. So cash flow management might be the most important task, because without cash, there is no business, there is no life. There is no air for the business, and you really need to watch it carefully. I have done some trainings and webinars on how you can monitor cash flow, project cash flow, and how you can manage finances. Hopefully I can share it with you one day. This is really one of the key elements that I'm totally confident you have to take care of very, very precisely. But there was some good element in that. I can tell you, we knew we had to generate positive cash flow, which is we need to spend less than we get from clients, that we get as income. So we had very clear focus. It was something brilliant in that. It was dramatic situation, but we knew exactly what's the number one priority for this period, and this was positive cash flow, and nothing else was as important than that. So it was quite surprising to me to realize how much my day and my decision-making process became simple, because I had very clear rule. We need to be generating positive cash flow, and that's the rule number one. We cannot break this one. So this helped me to basically take all decisions that I had to take in this 2016 year. And by the way, generating cash, of course, we needed to sell as much as possible. But we could also upsell the present clients, and that's another lesson. We have realized how upselling the present client is easy when you compare it to winning new business. How quickly can you do it when you compare it to the sales cycle length with the new client? So this is where account management comes into play, and this is the key role of key account managers, people who talk to client, who want to understand their needs, who want to understand what is other areas of potential cooperation, what other value, service, product we can deliver to the client to help them realize their goals. This is all about account management and staying close to customers. But there is a lot of money in this. And of course, you cannot stop selling and generating new sales. But when you need to improve your cash flow, when you need to improve your results, when you want to grow your business, the quickest way is surely to look into your present client list and try to deliver more value for them. And of course, new revenues and new sales come with that. So the lesson, it's much easier to upsell present clients than to sell the new ones. Don't forget about account management. By the way, there's lots of companies that I work with and they do not really have a proper sales team yet, but they all have clients, right? So it's hard for them to generate new sale. But staying closer to the clients they already have and delivering more value, that's something that they can do like immediately. And that's surely the point of area of focus that you should also benefit from. Then 2016 was also a great success. So it was a great year. After many years of preparing for that, we successfully sold LIDO-LANG to Sepro Group, one of the biggest translation companies from Spain, one of the biggest in the world. So it was our first exit. I was super happy with this. Let me share with you how the process looks. Well, of course, first, you need to build a long list of potential buyers who can be interested to buy your company, and you share with them a short document, typically a one-pager that describes your business with numbers, with some history, some projections for the future, some key advantages of owning this for the potential buyer. Then they might be interested or not, so this is how you build the short list, so the list of interested potential buyers. To whom you offer a management board presentation where you can go deeper into the presentation of your businesses or describing what you have shown in the one-pager. Once they are interested to discover more, of course you sign NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so you can be even more open, and hopefully you also will get a non-binding offer, which is like a term sheet from the VC topic we discussed before, which is a description of general terms under which the contract could really come to place. And once you sign this, again, we need to ensure that what you have told the investor, the buyer, is true. So this is what due diligence is for. And once this is successful, you go to contract negotiation and closing, which is signing the document, making the payment, and executing all the other steps which are described in the contract. And what I learned from this, selling a company is like selling anything. Because when you sell something, whether it is a service or a product, you really need to first think, what is the problem that your product or service will solve for the client? Okay, whom the best client is for this service that you are offering? How your product can bring value to the customer, and basically what is important for the customer. Because when you sell a company, there can be lots of things that might be interesting for the potential buyer. Of course, it's EBITDA, but it can be like net profit, but it can be also your geographical location, it can be your structure, technology that you have, clients that you have, it can be your operational procedures or excellence. It can be a list of your vendors, it can be, some certificates that you have or something from the history that make you distinguishable on the market. There might be something that they want much more or apart from only EBITDA. So understanding what are the value holders that client perceive, what is it that they associate value to, you'll be able to position your offer, position your product, in that case the company, to the list of potential buyers that really match these criteria that you have described. And by the way, depending on what you decide could be of value for the customer, you can segment the market, you can segment the customers and kind of customize the pitch, customize the one-pager so that you really emphasize what you believe will be the most important for them. And of course, during the interactions with them, you'll try to understand whether this is really the case, whether this is really where they want to have value, whether this is really what they are looking after, whether this is something that fits in their strategy. This is everything that you'll have to understand, like in the regular sales process, whether it is products or services. So selling a company is like selling anything. Then let's go back to XTRF. In 2016 and then in the coming years, we were working on organization structure. Of course, I love this saying, work on the business, not in the business, which means, don't be really involved in daily operations. This should be run by people, by your team, and you should be rather looking at your business from slightly outside and try to tweak it, try to improve this from different areas so that together as a company it becomes always better and better. So for sure also you do not want to be involved in daily operations. I mean, you as CEO or founder or managing director, because if you want to sell the company, well, it has to be kind of independent from you as well. So by building the structure, you also prepare your company for sale. But there is one important element related to building the structure I wanted to draw your attention to, and this is related to delegation of responsibilities, of tasks. And I can see, and I did the same mistake, by the way, I can see this many times, that when we delegate and we just nominate a new team leader or manager or director, we sometimes take the person from the team that we have already and we promote them to this position. And sometimes it is like, the person might be hesitating whether he or she is to the level and really can deliver on that. And we tend to say, don't worry, I'll help you, so no problem. You'll surely be successful. I'm with you. I'll really help you to deliver on that, which is bad, because we want this person to take this responsibility and take accountability. It's great that we want to coach them to be a better team leader, better director, better manager. Of course we want their success, but we want to coach them from outside, helping them evaluate the ideas or the observations or the improvements that they suggest, so that they come up with the best strategy that is theirs, and they are responsible for that, and they are accountable, and there are their KPIs that they use to measure their progress and hopefully be successful in their new role. So we want to delegate to people, meaning I'm here to coach you, but not to come in and take over the responsibility when you come across some problems. Okay, we want to avoid delegating upwards. We delegate downwards. So this is a very common problem that I see in lots of businesses. I was even discussing this recently with one of my clients. So really pay attention to this. Coach your team, but do not take over the responsibility when there is a problem. Help them solve the situation, help them be successful, coach them on this, but don't become responsible you again, because this is delegating upwards. You don't want that. 2020 was a great year, but at the same time it was a difficult year. As you remember, it was the start of pandemic, and also our situation with investors wasn't perfect. Our cooperation wasn't always very smooth, and we had some difficult times, and it was even hard to communicate and agree on the strategies and goals. So as I said before, you really need to be aware what the other party wants, so that you can find some common grounds and commitments. It was a bumpy time for us, but this is when I realized how much the power of personal meetings is important, what this power is really. Because when we said there is a window of opportunity, we could think of buying out our present investors. We're very far from realizing that, but I started to talk with the owner of the fund about this, and we, even though it was pandemic, like during the vacations time when the restrictions went away for a while, for a few months, we started to go for lunch together. I was traveling to Warsaw regularly, and then step by step we're discussing what is important for each of the party, how can we make the whole plan happen and make it a success, what are the preconditions, what are the elements that need to be respected by the deal for both of the parties. And with this very open discussion and full commitment, we have made it. It wasn't easy, but I'm pretty sure we have all, both parties, done the best. And we had trusted ourselves incredibly in this process. And I would never expect, like few months before, that by the end of 2020 we can really make it happen. I was super motivated. I was sure that it's like the one opportunity in a lifetime, and I knew that our investors also wanted a success. So we had some common ground that we could use to build this plan and build this commitment, and we did it. And at the end of 2020 we were free, and we had really generated results, which is we had bought 100% of the fund back, and we regained the full control of the company, which was fantastic. And it was really a moment of time when, together with my business partner, we said, now we really want to focus on working very hard on building the value of this business, and at least for 2 years, not talk with investors and not talk with possible buyers. And quite surprisingly, within 3 months, we had 5 offers to sell our business. So it was exactly against what we agreed in December, but also having this experience from the past, from the previous years, from the management buyout, we knew what we want, and we also knew what we do not want. And it was very easy for us, in fact, to draw together the list of conditions under which we could consider selling XTRF and selling 100% of this business. And this is what really happened. Out of these 5 offers, there were a few that were outstanding, and we found K1, who was a great partner, and I'm really happy that we came to terms with K1 investment management from United States, from Los Angeles, and they bought 100% of XTRF, which is fantastic. We helped them establish the new management board. We helped them transition basically the managing of the company from us to the new team, so that they could bring the company and take it to the next level, pouring their capital, their experience, their experts into this business, so that they can deliver higher value to customers, higher value to the market, and also guarantee much faster growth for the company and people working there. So it was really a fantastic deal. I'm so proud about this. It was great. And also it liberated me. I'm working today, as you see, as a business advisor and executive coach. I also invest a bit, but what we're talking here is really about sharing knowledge, about helping other entrepreneurs, other business owners succeed in their lives and in their businesses. And I'm so happy I'm ready and free to do all of that today. And the big lesson from this whole story is never stop believing. And like Steve Jobs was saying this, stay hungry, stay foolish. I love this expression. And really, don't stop believing. You can achieve this. Just work on this hard. Be pragmatic, be strategic, and go for it. And before I finish, I wanted to tell you about 2 big lessons I have received the same year, right after we sold XTRF. The left-hand side photo is made in the hospital, and let me tell you a brief story how it happened. We signed the contract of selling XTRF on Friday. We were expecting the payment. The payment didn't go through. It was later in the evening. Still, we didn't receive money. Saturday, of course, the transfer didn't come. Sunday, we could expect it even less. So over the weekend, we didn't have the company, we didn't have the payment for it neither, we didn't have the money. On Monday, you can imagine how often I was checking the bank to see whether there is a payment, whether there is a transfer that hit my bank account or not. And it still wasn't there in the morning, it wasn't there at noon, but soon afternoon, we got the call from kindergarten that our youngest daughter is ill and we should pick her up sooner and probably go to the doctor for some investigation. And we did it. We went to the doctor and the doctor said, well, you should go to the hospital. And we said, when? She said, immediately. You should go to the hospital immediately with the pneumonia. So such a young girl, you should be there right now. And so it was like a big shock for us. You know, the champagne was in the fridge, and now we are on our way to the hospital. And then, bing, I realized I have just received a message from my bank, the acknowledgement of the big transfer that I have received for the sale of XTRF. So you can imagine how crazy this situation was. Something I was working for, I could say, for 20 years and waiting for the last few days to happen with the champagne and the celebration and the party prepared. And now I got this message driving to the hospital with my daughter in my car. It was crazy. And this night I decided to stay with her in the hospital. And right after all the kids in this room went to sleep, it was like 10 or 11 p.m. I could have my dinner that was delivered to me by my fiancée. And you can see this is some hamburger and French fries. And I was sitting there in the corner of the corridor in the hospital. And this was something that really told me, look, it's great to do great things with business, but life is also full of other elements, and you have to remember what's important, and you have to really care for what's the most important for you in life. It's great to sell businesses, but family, children are something of totally different importance. So it was a big lesson. And by the way, what was funny, the bed in the hospital was made by the company, the brand that I remembered we translated documentation for back in LIDO-LANG a few years before. So at least I knew one brand in this hospital when I was there. It was quite reassuring being there in this awkward situation. The other photo, it's made in Los Angeles. I was invited by K1 to attend the meeting of all portfolio companies and basically all management staff, so C-level executives from the portfolio companies that they owned. And I was one of them, so I was happy to join them in a fantastic resort in Los Angeles. It was a great time. I was pretty proud of myself. I sold my company. It was a good valuation. And I had lots of things to be proud of. But there were also a good crowd of people, and lots of them were very interesting. And over one dinner, I was talking with a gentleman, and we started to discuss, their company. And I found very quickly that the valuation they are at is somewhat 50 to 70 times higher than we sold it. And I was like shocked. I said, I was so proud, and it's like 50 or 70 times more than we made. And I realized, look, there is always the next level. There is always the next step. So it's good to realize your goals, but also remember, probably there is still something interesting that you can build after that. There is still some new challenges and opportunities there that you can go after. And also there's lots of people that can still inspire you and make you grow and progress again. So this is fantastic 2 lessons right after we sold the company. I'm very happy I could share it with you. And this is related to the lessons I wanted to share with you today. But I also wanted to cut one speculation with you, because I'm receiving calls from different business owners, and they tell me, look, Andrew, I'm not sure if we can work with you. Like, can we afford it? And I want to answer very strictly, yes, of course you can. Because, it's about efficiency and the usage of time. I meet with clients for sessions, not for days, but for sessions, typically 1 hour session. And 2 sessions per month cost 900 euro. 4 sessions is like 1800. So you see, this is a very modest investment if you can use this time to really make huge impact on your life, on your business, on how you set goals, on how you draw the strategy, on how you prepare your company for the next level, or maybe for exit, or how do you build your team to execute better and achieve something that you deep in your heart really want for you and for your company. So I hope this will encourage you to contact me in case you have questions or you want me to work with you on your challenges and your goals and dreams. I'm very open to do it. Like I wrote here, anyway, before we would engage in any cooperation, we always meet for a free session. I really want to understand what are you after and whether I can help. If I can, then I'm happy to do it. If I can't, maybe I can refer to you to someone who could be more suitable than myself. Anyway, if you are interested, let's be in touch. And the lesson from here is, keep on working very efficiently, because when you focus on efficient work, nothing is expensive. I'm so grateful for your time today and for listening to my story. I hope it was inspiring and that some of these lessons reflect your situations or resonate with your present challenges or dreams, and you can use it also in your business and lives. Thank you so much. If you want to write to me, info@nedoma.io is my direct mail address. Thank you, and I hope we'll be in touch very soon. Bye bye.